So fuck yes, welcome to the Hype with me, host of those Brian Dressel. With me as always, Jonathan Hardesty.
You almost got it.
CHEWIE Darso.
Hi.
Emily Blake.
Hey.
We had a special guest lined up today that did not work out, so it's just the four of us talking about Emily's favorite movie of the year.
Hopefully
I have
that
way
means it
worse
won't get us
movies
sweaty.
than this one, though, for the record.
This or Power Rangers?
Oh, wow. I feel like Power Rangers was hard to watch. This I actually found watchable.
It hurt me a little bit.
Hey, this is why we like Emily, because she's not a yes woman.
And that's why and whoever listens to the podcast, my career is just going to start tanking.
There's a chartable decline in your career.
Yeah.
I'm always of the mind that if you can articulate why you hate something, it's not as bad as if it was dumb, and you've never just gone that route.
Not every movie's for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can take some criticism, you're in the wrong fucking industry.
Oh, yeah.
I can just swear a lot more this time because we just recorded last week's episode where we had a 4-year-old here, and I was trying to limit
Oh my
how
God,
much
that
I
was
swearing.
so hard.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I know we all
wasn't
fucked up
even
every
paying
now and then.
attention. Did I swear a lot? I wasn't paying attention.
I don't know.
It was either me or Emily for the win, I think.
I
I
forget
said
real
screw
fast when I'm
one
around
time
kids.
in place of fuck. I just was very like I kept pausing and looking behind me like she was a fucking
And was she just
mountain
staring
lion.
at you the whole time?
See, if this were filmed as a comedy, there'd be a scene of her from the point of view of like the headphones. The audio would just be like doot 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 doot, and she wouldn't be hearing anything. So we're all like super self conscious, and she's like, oh, you know, please
Or
We're
she's-
trying to be nice around
She's
your daughter.
really,
That's it.
really smart, and she just has InkPad up on her phone, and she's taking notes of all the new words she's learning.
Or she's like, those fuckers have a bad mouth.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into a where have you been doing. I'll go first. I watched easily one of the worst movies I think of the past 10 years. The fact that people enjoyed it blows my mind. I know a lot of people didn't, but if anyone did, I am shocked. Passengers. The steaming pile of garbage. Passengers. I had read a quote online that made me giggle. As a friend of mine wrote, Passengers was so bad I walked out of my apartment. I did not think it would be that bad. But my God. And the thing is, it's not bad because it's a bad movie. It's bad because it does not know how to tell a story. So I can forgive just bad filmmaking. I like plenty of movies that just kind of have problems in them. The story between the two characters is like offensively terrible.
Yeah, when
Have
Brian
you
described it
seen
to
it?
me, it's just...
I have not seen it. I read the screenplay a long time ago,
Yeah.
and I remember saying I didn't like it, and people were like, "How dare you?"
Oh, yeah.
So I backed off and pretended to like it so that everyone would stop being mean to me.
It was, you know, the thing is the acting is not bad. Like Chris Pratt does fine, Jennifer Lawrence is fine, like Lawrence Fishburne for the little bit he's in it, they all do fine. But the story of lonely man wakes up hot chick because he stared at her to spend the rest of time with, that's bad. It gets worse when she's like, yeah, I guess it's okay.
Yep.
I'll live the rest of my life with you. What the fuck? Like, he murdered you. He murdered you, and you're just like, yeah, we'll just build a house together and be okay.
It's
that's
like,
the most
that's
fucked
life
story.
rape.
Yeah,
And
that
just
is-
do it until
doesn't-
she likes it.
Doesn't he fall like she's trying to get away from him, and he won't leave her alone? Like,
Oh
he
yeah,
keeps-
she starts going for like a jog just to clear her mind, and he goes over the intercom to start apologizing. It's like, dude, you are the worst character. Like, if this movie had been like, if they try to redeem him in some way or something,
Or if she
anything,
had just gone, you go to your corner, I'll spend the rest of our lives over in my corner. Bye.
anything would have been better than the happily ever after. Like, that is the most fucked up way to end that movie.
I also had issues with the fact that they the convenience of waking up the one person who can save them, and then he goes away.
Oh,
and
yeah, he just
that
dies.
solves that problem.
Oh, I'm
Like, now you don't have to
spoiling
worry
all
about
this
the-
movie. You should
Oh,
not see this
yeah.
movie.
I
movie-
haven't seen it, but from what I hear,
Yeah.
it sounds like it follows the script pretty
This
closely.
just sounds like rape culture turned into a sci-fi epic.
Yeah, the fact that he's just so, like, that she forgives him. And it's not like that she forgives him. It's like Lawrence Fishburne has like a one-on-one with her where she's like, he murdered me. Like, he woke me up. He killed me. There's no way around this. Like, and his reply is like, yeah, but he was really lonely. And that's like a justifiable excuse in this movie.
Like you said, that's total rape culture.
Rape
It's like,
culture.
what
because
the
men
fuck?
need it.
Like,
Yeah.
I was just watching this movie getting pissed off. And, like, I have not had a movie make me legitimately angry in a long time.
It makes me happy that it seems like that movie bombed.
as well
Oh,
it should
definitely
have.
don't. I'm kind of surprised that Jennifer Lawrence signed on to do something because she's usually pretty vocal about like, I don't know.
The only thing that makes me worried is Chris Pratt. Now that's
He
two
keeps
movies
taking
in a
these
row
roles.
where he's horrible to women, and it's like, dude, like, you seem like a really cool guy. Stop taking these roles.
Yeah.
Like it makes my skin
Wait,
crawl.
what's the other one?
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well,
It made
there's-
me really mad when I realized how, because the first time I saw Jurassic World, I actually liked him, and then on the rewatch of Jurassic World, I'm like, oh no, you were just really sexy looking. I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. You're a shit person.
Anyhow, that's it for me. Somebody else can go. I just had to get my passengers rant because I'm not going to burn a whole episode.
You made
on
it so that I will never see that movie. So the last few days has been us trying to catch up on I was gonna say Passengers again, Preacher and Doctor Who. So I watched 1 episode of Preacher and 2 episodes of Doctor Who, and I guess I'll talk about Doctor Who. The 3. I watched the one with the tree lady, the one with the zombies in space, and then the last one was the best one where you find out that he's
Oh, so I'm trying to figure out which one you mean by zombies in space.
where the suits control your body.
Oh, you're talking about this season?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Have you watched this season?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next one after that was when we finally kind of learned what the overarching plot is of this season. And I enjoyed that one the most. I was happy that I had guessed who was in the vault. I won't say it in case other people don't know.
Haven't got to it yet.
I really enjoyed it. And I'm kind of liking the setup for that. I think that was interesting, the new characters they brought in. And I really want to know the whys. Why did we get to this? And I liked the Vatican thing, specifically when he sees the Pope. He's like, you don't do this. The Pope doesn't make house calls or whatever. I'm like, I thought that was great.
The best thing was the girl who was worried about being gay because of religious things, and then the Pope.
Oh
walks
my
into the
God,
bedroom.
that was amazing.
Yeah, that was a
Where,
great scene.
yeah, Bill's on a date, and the girl there seems to be a little, like, new to the situation, and Bill's trying to calm her down and be like, it's okay, in a sexy way, and then the Pope comes out of her bedroom, and I was like,
And the
what
girl
a way!
the girl totally bails, and then she's so pissed at the doctor.
Like,
I just love when Bill
talk
walks
about
into the
the
room. There's
ultimate
just like
cock block, sex vagina block, like,
Yeah.
boom.
Cool. I haven't had a lot of chance to watch stuff lately. I did see Valerian, but you already mentioned that in the previous episode and said everything I would have said because I love that movie. But what I did do is I finished working on a show, a little web show for the place I work, and it's a show called Bragging Rights, and it's about 2 dudes who go into a particular part of the house and they renovate it. So they're flipping the house. They pick up an area that could really boost the flip value or whatever. I don't know a lot of house lingo, but they make it better, and they're just really comedic fellows. So most of it's not like how do they build this wall and make it look really new and cool and expensive. It's more of them fucking around, and then the wall just gets built. And it's a 6-minute episodes, and we're only like 3 are only out right now. The other ones are coming out ? But I'm really proud of the work that they did on that and that I was able to help with.
Cool, man.
I recommend it. I'll put a link in there.
I'm sure it's terrible.
Of course. I also put a lot of like gifable moments in there with text on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, if you've looked at anything that we've had video or picture wise, this guy has been fucking them up since day one. Sooner or later, we'll get somebody who knows what they're doing.
I just basically fart on the keyboard and that
Yeah,
was
John, can you start making our banners into GIFs?
I probably could.
Oh my god.
Oh,
You
you're
might have
s-
just broken
You're
his
supposed to
brain.
sound
Yeah.
exasperated.
How much time do you have? You have a kid, too. The rest of us
well,
don't.
that may be a slow rollout. But I mean, I have the original pictures, and we could do something fun with those.
I expect moving interactive backgrounds from here on out.
Well, I did a lot-
Interactive. That's what I want. Like, you click on my face and I go, stop it.
I'm caught up on a CWC show called I Ship It. I Ship It. Sorry. And it's because one of my friends is the lead on that show, and then another person I know. I don't want to say we're friends, but we're acquaintances. Anyway, who cares?
Enemies.
And we're enemies. I think she's running the show. Is that right? Anyway, and it's so freaking cute. It's actually, I was watching it because I've been working on a pitch for a web series, and so I was using that and the Guild as like my main 2 models, and I ended up watching the whole series without meaning to because it was so freaking adorable. It's basically about this girl who's kind of restless, and her life isn't quite what she wanted, and she gets dumped, I think, and she decides to start a band because she wants, first it's to prove to him that she's awesome, and then it becomes this whole like encompassing thing. Meanwhile, she's like having a relationship maybe with her roommate who's totally in love with her, and it's a whole it's so cute because every episode they have a song that because they're a band, so they do 1 or 2 songs every episode, and but they're geek songs, so they're always about like they're always like it's about the relationship, but it's also about Game of Thrones at the same time. Like they're
like
so
Rush.
cute. What?
It's like Rush then, right?
Yeah.
Rush.
The band Rush.
Oh yeah. Do they have a lot of geeky songs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A
that's
lot,
their
of, lot of Lord of the
hallmark.
Rings in their
Oh, really?
music.
They're
Yeah.
super nerdy.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, yeah. Then I guess.
So
it's like
yeah,
that.
it's exactly like Rush.
Yeah.
All the Rush
that
fans are
was-
like, how could you not know?
But that was the one of the episodes they had a battle of the bands and they played, and so you got to see I think you saw some people doing nerdy. You see other bands doing occasionally other nerdy, because that's the whole thing is they're all like nerd bands. And on the battle of the bands, they were all supposed to be nerdy songs, but instead they did a whole song about montage about doing a song. So each band had like a different portion of the song, and like one of the lyrics is something like, "No one's listening to these lyrics anyway, so we could all be singing the same thing." And then they bounce to the next group who says the next line. It was so freaking. The show
I'd
is just
enjoy that. I
adorable.
love self-conscious montages.
And they're like about maybe 10-minute episodes roughly.
cool.
It's really, really cute.
Free Fire.
Ah.
Free Fire was a movie that came out earlier this year. It made fucking no money.
Yep.
Nobody saw this
I
movie.
did not know it existed until you said that's what we were
That
doing.
yeah, we had one other friend
Yep.
who saw it, loved it, and he's just like, "You guys will love this movie too because we like each other's things, whatever." And then Brian and I said, and we both really loved it.
We saw
did.
it the weekend after opening weekend, and there was like 3
There was
people.
no one there.
Maybe 3 people.
We
in the
saw it on
theater.
a Tuesday night, which we also discovered if you're trying to get away from bad people at movies, you will still end up with shit teenagers who will talk during the whole film.
Yeah, they sucked. But it was this movie. It bombed. It bombed in a big way. I don't think it cost a lot. I'd probably
they
put it.
hardly
one big
advertised it.
location.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure I'd peg it under 20 million.
And it was
I'm
shot
sh-
in England.
they had good actors in it, but
Yeah.
nobody who commands a massive salary. So yeah,
Well, because it's Brie Larson before she was Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
and it's like
Armie Hammer, Cillian Murphy, but
yeah,
nobody
they all
who's
get,
like.
I'm sure they'll get paid well, but
Yeah.
definitely they're not like 20 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
but
not.
in that,
huge
but they
things.
saved a ton on having just one location.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it still only made 1.8 million, like
In the US or globally?
total.
Wow.
It did not get it. It did not get a global release.
Really?
Yeah.
Even
Or at least
though
not
it was, even though it,
Not according to Box Office Mojo.
technically it is a British film. I looked up the cast or looked up the crew because I was going to see if I could find
let me
anyone.
look at Wikipedia.
It's-
wonder
they're all
why-
English.
Who's the studio? Who just decided to dump it?
It's A24, isn't it?
Yeah, it was an A24.
Oh wow.
Oh, sorry. Overseas, it made an additional 2.5.
Okay.
1.5. It ended up at 3.5 million.
Okay.
It
How much did
definitely
it cost?
more
Does it
to
say how
make
much it
that.
cost?
7.
Woo!
Didn't even make half
So
its
it
budget back.
cost nothing and it made less. Big swing and a miss on Free Fire.
That's so disappointing.
And it, because that's also that's also a movie that if you had gone with no names in your cast, then you would have saved so much money that they probably wouldn't have. Well, no, it didn't get a wide release anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like you were better off almost going with nobody in your cast and just making a really solid film, which I guess we'll discuss that.
Yeah, so bit of a swing and a miss. But we'll get into it after a breakdown. But since we have no guest here today, I was going to do it myself, but then
I have opinions.
yeah, and then Emily came in fired up about how much she loved this movie, and I'm like, well, I guess I can take a backseat. I don't need to do it again.
She was just like, man, if I could see this movie twice in a row at the same time.
Can we watch it again before
Yeah.
we record?
We had to be
It's
like,
my
no.
favorite movie of the year.
We had to be like, no, we need to record a podcast. We got to spend some time on that, not watch this movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Well,
All right, Free Fire in 30 seconds. Here we go.
Okay, so a bunch of really unlikable men and one woman who don't seem to know each other very well get together to do some kind of weapons deal for the IRA, and then they start shooting each other for some reason, and then the most predictable character on Earth walks away, and everybody dies.
Okay.
All right.
I would say that's a success. It's a little more negative than I would have gone with it. but a success.
I like.
So
the
you loved it.
I like the shooting sometimes. I liked that it was okay. I like some things.
Okay, well let's get into the. I want to get the elephant in the room out of the room as soon as possible. Only one woman in this movie. Bothers some, does not bother others.
I mean, for me, I give it excuses.
Okay.
It's a movie about a criminal organization underground in the 70s in a contained space with limited actors, limited characters. So to me, she's just a middle woman who's there, and they're not going to be bringing in random people. They do bring in one random person walking off the street, but that's it.
Well, and the kind of the 50-50 split of our population has only existed recently. There weren't as many women back then.
I don't know if that's true.
It's just science.
Are you
science.
joking?
I am joking.
She was like, I'm going to smack him. No, the only reason why it made sense to me is because I think that was her character's idea. Because she knows if things go wrong, no one's ever going to suspect her.
I mean, that's totally
just-
something women
she's
have done.
playing
forever.
those guys.
Well, that's the reason why I hate
Yeah.
when there's only one woman, because we've been taught through a lot of ways, but also through film, that like there's only room. People will say, "Oh, women are so catty to each other." You know why? Because we're constantly told there's only allowed to be one of us in any situation.
Yeah.
You've created a Hunger Games like scenario where only one winner is allowed to stay in the group, and the rest of them get to be prostitutes. You know, I mean, like,
It's true.
so of course we're all gonna be like, as soon as you see another woman walk in, you're like, "Oh, there's only gonna be one of us. It's either you or me, bitch." You know.
And as a woman in
Are
her
you trying to kill my wife?
Actually, I was looking
clearly-
I think I was looking at the door when I said that.
From where I'm
And
sitting,
I
it
was
looks like
waiting
you
for the third woman to walk in.
The door
Die!
just pissed itself and ran away. You don't have a door. I'm sorry.
But clearly, in her character, she probably uses her feminine wiles
Probably.
to distract
just gonna
the
say
men. She uses Killian totally.
Oh, she uses
Oh,
him.
He
Sure.
is such a white knight. Like, I am the good person as long as I save the lady.
Oh, we have
Like,
a former friend who the whole time I'm like, I know exactly who you remind me of because you would have done exactly this.
White knight characters annoy me in real life. I like watching them suffer in movies. So it was fun watching him getting shot.
I love the whole time of like, I mean, it's because she's the only woman and there's obviously a double cross going on. You can pretty much go, but her.
Yep.
But because I could guess that so early on, it didn't really bother me. And I loved the whole time of Cillian Murphy, like determined to save her. I'm like, dude, she's murdering you. And I just love that, like, no, we're going to keep shooting each other. Just let her leave.
I love that too. Dude, she's doing an arms deal with the IRA. She knows an arms dealer. She's part of this. She's not a nice person.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that's what punches her or the one line so well. And she's like, "I thought you were a nice girl." It's like, we can't all be nice, or I
Yeah.
forgot.
We
We
exactly
can't all
how
be
she
nice
said.
girls.
Yeah.
It's a good
That's a
one.
pretty good line. Yeah.
But the thing about this movie that I really enjoyed, and I know agree, disagree, I love this cast's chemistry. I thought they all worked really well together. Like for the movie, that the entire goal is to make a very quippy shoot 'em up. These guys were
succeeded.
perfect for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
And I really like Armie Hammer. I always
Yeah,
really
Armie Hammer was the part I really liked.
Yeah.
Because
I
he was
love
so
Armie
chill.
Hammer.
Yeah, I love Armie Hammer, and I don't feel like he's gotten that role yet.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't got that thing to make him a household name.
Yeah.
I feel, as much as I like Ben Affleck as Batman, I think he was a better choice. I think they should have gone for Armie Hammer. I know he was the first name, but he just wasn't big enough. Then after Lone Ranger bombed, like, well, we can't give it to him. I'm like, come on, that wasn't his fault.
That movie was
No.
gonna bomb regardless.
Yeah,
It was Johnny Depp's fault for.
Oh my god, that stupid thing on his head and
Yeah.
the appropriation of oh god.
but now,
And then it was so annoying when I found out that wasn't Johnny Depp's first time impersonating a Native American.
yeah, Johnny Depp makes some bad decisions. Anyhow,
I want Armie Hammer to keep that beard.
And that beard oil, that was.
No, it was pretty
I
funny.
laughed out loud. It's my
You-
beard oil.
I had just started using beard
Why do
oil
you
about a
smell
week before I
good?
saw this. I was pretty excited about that role.
Like I enjoyed certain things. I did enjoy that. I like you said. I really do think that the actors had chemistry. I just think the I think when you have a plot this simple, which is a bunch of people in a room shooting each other, there's very very thin plot. It was like one person double crossed them. It wasn't even really there wasn't really any big motivation behind it. It was pretty easy to see who that person was. It was such a simple plot. In response to that simple plot, you need a complicated characterization to balance it out. And the problem is these people were very surface. I wanted more like backstory. I wanted more relationships between them. I wanted somebody to have a secret from somebody else other than the main one. I wanted something to like, that's what made Reservoir Dogs so good, is that it's not that these two people were likable. I don't need them to be likable. And they shouldn't be, but you care about these two men because you realize that there's a relationship there. And I just never felt like anyone in the story had a relationship that I gave any shits about. So I wasn't rooting for anyone to win. I didn't care about. I was like, yep, they're all gonna die. Let's just watch it happen.
But in that defense, because they're all so unlikable, even Brie Larson, like I was kind of rooting for them all to lose. I kind of enjoyed the ride of like, these are all horrible people and they're all going to lose. I'm going to enjoy watching that. Like, I kind of liked the destruction of like, none of these people should walk out of here. Like, they're all terrible people.
That's
and that was the reward.
I have a hard time rooting for a negative.
Well, and someone told me about this movie and mentioned in their wording like slapstick comedy, and I was like, "What?"
I believe that was me when I saw it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're to blame, which is a good thing, I guess.
Perfect.
But like coming into it as a sort of a comedy of errors and a sense of just like everything there is in service of being like, this is ridiculous, and it just keeps going. There's kind of like the joke that drags out kind of becomes funnier the longer the thing goes on and the more mundane it gets. So like as they're shooting each other and they're hitting each other in like non-vital spots. They just keep shooting at each other, grunting and finding cover, and they're all, for lack of a better word, flopping around, gunning each other.
Oh, by halfway through,
There's
they
a lot
can't
of
stand
crawling.
anymore.
They can't even stand anymore, and so they're just like, oh, and like they're groaning. I had subtitles on. That made it even funnier, and it's just like there was such a comedy to it that was so kind of understated and just kind of built from its kind of mundaneness and simplicity that I don't know if having serious backstories would have actually harmed that in a way. Because by the end, it's like, I hate all these people. I don't care that they like each other. It's just funny that these guys are like, oh, you're my bro. Bam. Oh, he's dead. Oh, whatever. Like, oh, I hurt. Like all this kind of interplay is what was for me so fun. It was
like for me, like the moment when I'm looking at the names right now, when Jack Rayner, the guy who played Harry, sees Sam Riley for the first time, like just that immediate, like, I'm going to kill him. Like I love that. Just like they see each other and he's like, I need to hide from him because he's going to kill me. And then the second he sees him, like, yep, need to kill that guy. Like I love the way like the whole like the tension just builds immediately. Like the whole thing feels doomed from the beginning. But with those two guys, I love Jack Rayner. I wish he would do more. He's only kind of slowly been coming on the scene. But the way he reacts, like, and I like when you talk about not having enough backstory, I feel like they scratched the surface of it. I agree I could use a little bit more, but I like the story of like, this guy's horrible. He beat up this guy's cousin, and that's why there's drama here.
But that makes me think of something like if we had known the reason why he got beat before we saw the other guy, then when we saw him, immediately the audience would have been like, oh shit, it's on. And then I think we would have had a completely different reaction. And then the story could have been about like who's taking the side of this one guy as opposed to like everyone piling on him and then choosing sides for some, I don't really understand why reason. They were there to make a deal. I still am very confused about why they all just started shooting each other.
Well, I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah, that's
I think
okay.
it's ego. It's entirely just like, well, you killed one of our guys, we have to kill one of your guys, but we're not going to let you kill one of our guys. So that's the entire. It's the stupidest argument in the world.
Yeah, and I guess I was trying to find more meaning in this story than it had.
no,
that was my mistake. I was just like, I just want something to latch onto.
That's why the thing that I really like about the lack of story and depth in this, in a way, is it's very. These are, like you said, these are all bad people.
Yeah.
They're all very egocentric on themselves, out for their own survival, out for their own monetary gain. And they're all very desensitized. Shooting people is not a big deal. To a lot of them, it's kind of funny. Like, they're all so base emotions during the entire thing. None of them really feel like they're suffering. There's only one moment where the drug addict guy is sad that his friend got shot in the back. That's the only emotional moment in the whole movie.
Their relationship wasn't developed to a point where I care.
No, so that's the thing.
But
you don't care because really they don't care.
I wanted to care.
You care as much as they do.
Movies just now want them to make me care.
And I think that's kind of why I think it's so funny is because this all started because of two really dumbass grunts who couldn't keep their shit out of things,
Yeah.
and just so you're not supposed to feel bad about him and his like friend. Because it's like you're just so ridiculous, and then in the next frame he's falling asleep.
And not even that.
'Cause he did
While
more
he's
smack.
being sad for his friend, it's one of the funniest moments in the movie. While he's crying for his friend, you have Jack Rayner mocking him.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
I'm just so sad. It's just like-
Yeah, that's what I mean. None of them care. Like
Yeah.
how desensitized people say we are because of video games and things in our generation. That's how they are in this movie. These characters are desensitized to this violence. So right now, even though they're all bleeding to death and killing each other, they're very unfazed by it. And when the phone rings and then they all try to get to the phone, it's just about who can crawl better.
And then it ultimately doesn't matter. I had the subtitles on, and that was perfect for it because I could actually hear what the person was saying. I was like, "Would you like some mattresses from the da-da-da?" I was like, "Oh, this wouldn't even have mattered anyway, that phone
No.
call." Like, there's a lot of, this doesn't matter. It's almost very nihilist in this.
Yeah.
And there's,
I would say this is a very nihilist film.
and I think a lot of the humor comes from that. Because Ben Wheatley has, the only other movie of his I've seen, or other two are his, what's it called? Down Terrace? I forget. But then
Down Periscope.
Lakeview Terrace?
Lakeview Terrace.
I don't know.
I forget.
Lake
I,
House.
Terrace.
I forget what the first one was called.
Mad Max Fury Road.
I'm going to
But
find
that
this
was-
out in a second here.
Okay.
I'm
The other one,
just
A Walk in the Clouds.
the other one I saw was
Secret of Nim.
Sightseers, A Field in England, and High Rise.
None of those have
Okay,
anything
no.
to do with terraces.
Or Secret of Nim.
But Kill List is the one I was thinking of.
Oh, I
Um,
just looked at it as known for.
I think
and that one also had a very, just kind of out of left field, Wicker Man-esque nihilist slant. So like that seems to be his thing. And
Yeah.
I think coming into that with that kind of sense of like, none of this matters and this is very ridiculous.
I don't think he would have a very high opinion of society.
Yeah. And there's very much a lens of like, this is very idiotic. This is all very, like, there's kind of a cruel slant that becomes funny with it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the very few people in our theater are the stupid teenagers. We were laughing at the whole movie like it's a comedy because like it's not played for laughs very much, but it is. I mean, they're one-liners. They're quippy the whole way.
Well, I
through.
think that as an audience, he's intending for us to be so as detached to what's actually happening as they are.
Yeah, I'd say.
maybe you're kind of bringing me around to this because maybe this is just not. I wasn't prepared for this movie. I knew nothing about it. I didn't.
You did
look
watch Wings right before, where you are.
I
Supposed
watched
to be
it the night
invested in
before.
characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Not a good double feature.
Yeah. Well, I watched it and then I went to sleep. Then I woke up and watched it. And I think I didn't watch any teasers. I didn't read the log line or the tagline. I didn't look at even the poster. I just was like, here's the movie. So when it opened, I thought it was going to be a heist film. Like I guess I had an expectation of what the story was going to be, and when I realized it was just going to be a one location shoot 'em up, I was like, oh, okay. But by that point, I'd already I was looking for something that it didn't have. I think maybe if I'd known what I was going to get.
Yeah, if
before
you
I
had seen the
started
trailer,
movie-
the trailer definitely just makes it look like a shoot 'em up movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
where
trailer
it's just
is
all
like,
about it being funny and quibby.
Yeah, the trailer. The first time I saw the trailer, I don't remember what movie we were going to see, but Chewie had gone to the bathroom and she came back. I'm like, I just saw a trailer for the next movie I want to see. Like, I need to see this movie, and then it didn't exist online for like 3 months. Because it was supposed to come out in 2016, and they kicked it because they didn't think it was going to do well, and lo and behold, it did very poorly.
Yeah.
But they kicked it down the road.
I mean,
in March.
it's true, like what Emily said. There's a lot of people like to care about who they're watching,
Yeah,
so
and
they
that's
won't
just-
like a movie where you don't care about
Yeah.
anybody.
That's just
I have
not
It's the
this
same
movie.
reason I didn't like the most recent Tarantino.
Oh, Hateful Eight.
Yeah, Hateful Eight, because again, I tend to dislike movies
And
where
that
there's
one's
not
also kind of-
one person that I care about.
That one's funny for similar reasons
Yeah.
too. So they're
Yeah.
both
And
playing in the very
also,
same
like
space.
in that case, the woman is treated like absolute garbage the entire movie. But
Yeah.
also, this movie had only one person of color in addition to one woman. It's like let's
Two.
just do
One
two?
of the snipers was black,
Oh right,
That's right, yeah.
okay. Well,
which he actually has the saddest moment in the whole movie to me. Which
Oh, he
after
dies
he gets
alone?
shot and he dies in the corner crying, I'm like, no. That's too much seriousness in this movie. Like, that's really sad right there. I need to go back to the characters I don't care about.
And I think that's probably the disservice is that you kind of have to be in a certain headspace for this. So if you're in a headspace for like a Hateful Eight, for Free Fire, things like that, where it's like there's like this meaningless, life is meaningless, everything is mundane, and
I mean, like
I
in
mean-
Reservoir Dogs, you get all those flashbacks, which give you the story, which make you care about the
Yeah,
characters. This movie's no flashbacks. You're here. This is
Yeah.
just what's
But
happening.
even I wanted to, like, you don't necessarily even need flashbacks. I just wanted to feel like they had relationships. It was so surfacey.
But I feel like they really didn't have relationships. The only relationship
I know. That's what I wanted them to.
No, see, but I think if they had hinted at it more, it would have been more of a problem. Like if they had gone more like, oh, there could be relationships here, because the only one that you kind of get is the really hateful one between Frank and the drug guy. Yeah. That's really the only established relationship in the whole movie.
Well, they kind of established that the black guy and I forgot her name now.
Brie
the
Larson.
girl,
But
Brie Larson.
they talk about that one.
That
they
how
really
they had,
establish
because
it.
they're the two that were in cahoots and hired the snipers, so they had a relationship of some sort.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen like two people who came into this, like those two guys, those two buddies, like the drug dealer or the druggie and his buddy or whatever, be like super tight and then turn on each other, or something where I felt like there was something real for them to go through during this battle. But nobody really goes through anything emotional other than, oh, I'm getting shot and I'm shooting people and haha, isn't this fun?
For some reason, that's why I like it, though.
Yeah.
Because every movie I go to, they try to do all of these things. I feel like everyone's trying to tell all these stories, like very complex and stuff like that. It felt refreshing for me to watch this one where it's like, no, this is just a bunch of idiots shooting each other.
Yeah.
And at the end, they're no better off. They're worse off. Everyone's dead.
Yeah, well, they're all dead.
And then she's
that one
arrested.
She's
arrested.
Well, there's
really
a good chance that
Yeah.
Brie Larson was going to die of her wounds later. She was definitely shot like 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like that was the thing.
Crawling around in an empty, abandoned factory.
Yeah.
Things
I love
got
that.
in those wounds.
I kind of did like that moment though, because I was looking at the two of them and I was like, wait a minute, is that girl dead? I don't think she's dead. And then it was like, oh nope, she wasn't. Okay, yeah.
She passed out.
Yeah.
Like
well, of course, they kept passing out.
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
losing
they were
blood
really
constantly.
See, that was so funny because I was like, you could see that they were passing out. They were slowly degrading, and like the one guy was like, "It's going to take about an hour to do this."
Yeah, I love that. Like,
Oh, or that it's about you got an hour and a half window, and he was like, well, how long have we been sitting here?
I was like, that's a golden rule.
And
then when he tries to tell
performances.
somebody later, like, you at least have like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And just
I love Charlton Copley.
performance-wise, with what they had with their characters, I thought they did a very good job of reflecting kind of their state of minds and their injuries. Because I like the one part when Cillian Murphy's trying to do his whole white knighty thing, sitting down with Brie Larson, and he's just like, I'm going to get you to that door. And she's just sitting there kind of panting, heavily breathing, like she might be trying to not go into shock right there.
Yeah.
Like, they put effort into reflecting their physical state in their acting, which a lot of shoot 'em up movies don't reflect. They'll just be like, oh, I got shot. I'm going to put the sling on my arm, but I'm going to keep going like nothing
that's
happened.
True. That's very true.
Like,
okay, you guys are bringing me around. Can I do the 30-second thing again?
Well, maybe this will help too. Another interesting thing is like they're all their ids, just surface level too.
Yeah.
Like everything is just so they're not people. They're not supposed to be people or real people. They're just their characteristics. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, they're exactly the face that they would show at a gun deal.
Yeah.
Like, you show up, you don't want to be the real person you are. You put on a show, a front, and that's...
But they never break that character even when they're dying. And, and I love that, like, they're so committed to this aspect of who they are in the gun movie, the gun crime movie, that they're not going to break it even when they're passing out trying to shoot.
one of the most interesting deaths is from the guy from District 9. I never remember his name.
Charlton
Copley.
Copley is a Copley? Copley?
That guy.
I would say
the guy
Copley.
from South Africa.
Mr. Copland.
He gets very badly burned at one point.
Oh, it's so
And
rough.
just I don't know if they were gloves or what they did with his hands and how he couldn't move them. The sound effects of him kind of like trying to move and the cracking of his skin.
Yeah.
Like,
It's rough.
That was also a really good stunt because at one point that was him on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
They didn't hide his face. He was wearing the flame suit.
Like, that was intense.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he would have been able to shoot a gun off again because it takes a decent amount of effort to actually pull a trigger. But I'll let that go a little bit.
And I think what I appreciate...
realism?
what I really appreciate is because of this kind of nihilistic bent, this kind of it's all worth meaningless, is that those moments that stand out, like you said, the sniper who got shot and started crying, that and Charlton Copley getting burned, like those two moments stand out so much because they are so much a quick diversion from that. Just such... That was rough. That was rough to watch him burn and to hear that crackle, and then to hear the guy crying because he got shot.
Or the buddy who doesn't have a gun. He's stuck in the middle of it, and he's just getting up, and he's just whispering to himself, "I'm just going for a walk. I'm just going for a walk." And then South Africa guy, because I keep forgetting his name, starts shooting at him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So like,
But then he's like, they won't shoot at a bird. You know, it's not, she's safe just because she has a vagina.
Oh, and the second she sets up, Jack Mander shoots her. Oh, shit, I'm sorry.
Because he hears the... oh, yeah. The one dude hears the phone, though. And he's just like... now I can shoot her.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that works, because the movie was just 100% the gimmick, and then just them doing that. I could lean more toward your end on that. But because of these little side moments, really just kind of almost in a very meta way, playful.
The movie's very playful.
Yeah.
Like, the whole way
in the
through.
nihilistic sense.
Yeah, for sure. But like I still think one of my favorite moments in the entire movie is when Jack Rayner shoots Arnie Hammer. Like, he's just firing, and he shoots him, and it's like, oh shit, I shot him. He's gonna kill me.
Or how he dies. His final resolution with the other guy, where he runs over his face and gets shot through the ass.
Oh man.
Like,
I think they shot Harry in the ass.
and it was like a movie. Like, I was kind of thinking, like, okay, they're gonna have to do some really funny, silly kind of happenstance way that they're gonna get each other, and it delivered. It was like,
It delivered. That was
It
an
took them a
audible,
long time
yeah.
to kill each other.
There was an audible groan in our theater when he got ran over. It was like, oh.
It was so great. It looked really good.
Yeah, it looked great in the worst way.
But then just to have him in a reflex shoot him, I was like, oh, this is perfect for this
The
sort of
song
thing.
choice there was pretty great too.
Oh yeah. So now that we mentioned
The
song,
music is amazing.
That's what I was gonna bring up.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
the music in this movie I thought was incredibly smart. Like, I really liked because there's very little. Like, there's
Yeah.
John Denver, and then they use a lot of like drums and like a bass guitar. But like throughout the first real shootout, there's no music. It's played very quiet, just kind of like all you hear are gunshots and then them quipping at each other.
Speaking of gunshots, okay, guys. Okay, how many magazines did they? I mean, I know they were
they had a
gun
lot of
dealers,
bullets.
but like, not everyone was standing near the pile of guns, and those were rifles anyway. Where were they storing all the magazines?
I
In their
don't know.
butts. All had bullets in their butts.
Like endless. It was like a video game. It was just like boom, 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 more.
I was
fuck
going
it.
to try to bring on an armorer, but I don't know enough armorers, very little. Because I wanted someone to have like some more input on the actual guns. But like, were these accurate to the magazines for these pistols they
I
had
hope
or whatnot?
not. Like,
Because I wasn't
I
counting.
doubt
amount
it.
of bullets.
well, and that's kind of what got funny is because at a certain point, no one would have bullets. At a certain point, this would like
Yeah.
10 minutes into this gunfight,
Yeah,
they'd be
you'd
done.
all be out of guns.
They'd be done.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is that bullets just keep arriving in their gun.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like it really is a video game. They were like finding weapons packs.
and when you in modern games, sometimes a lot of the times you just stand in proximity to a gun case and then your bullets replenish. That is a mechanic to make things easier. Mass Effect did this a lot in the new one, and that's why, like, for me, that's funny. Where it's just like, oh, he has a gun and he's near something that probably has bullets. Therefore, he has
Yeah.
bullets.
But the thing is, like, they were all rifles, right? I didn't see any handguns in that. So you can't. There's only one,
The ones that are
literally
up for
only
sale, yeah.
one kind of rifle magazine that you can transfer the bullets over to a pistol, as far as I know. So that, like, the likelihood that they would be even able to replenish their weapons from that is. But I mean, I was okay with that. I just laughed at it when I saw it. I was just like, this is that kind of movie where you don't care.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty. I was just like, where the fuck are these bullets coming from?
I think Brie Larson ended up going through like 3 different guns. She got the sniper gun at the end,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah. This was a movie I walked into going, if I count bullets, I'm going to go insane. So
No.
Yeah.
I
And I
wanted
don't
to.
know
I
enough about
tried
guns.
to
If
count
you
how
are-
many times each person got shot, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I imagine if you are an armorer, though, this movie would be just like migraine central. You'd
Yeah.
just be like, trying to, I don't know, or maybe they think it's cool. I don't know.
who knows?
Somebody comment.
I'm guessing no armorer saw this movie because basically nobody did.
This
But they
is a
definitely
hard
had
sell.
armorers on it.
Well, yeah. What else have we hit on this thing? We've kind of danced around the cast a little bit. Definitely talked storytelling or lack thereof.
The catalyst guy who shoots the druggie. I've only previously seen him in
Sing Street.
Sing Street.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to see him like be able to act more than just the loser druggy brother.
I love that the recommendations after watching this movie, because it's not very sophisticated on the Xbox. The recommendation was, oh, now that you've seen this, you should see Sing Street. I'm like, oh yeah, they're very much
The
alike.
one actor.
Uh,
And he could also play Seth Rogen's younger brother at some point.
Yeah.
What a
feel like.
hipstery vibe to him,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
interesting.
he is in Detroit, which I really want to see.
He is.
Yep.
Oh, that looks so good.
Oh,
And every review I've read says you absolutely have to see it in a theater, or there's no point in seeing it
Oh.
because
Why?
you need to see it in a way where you cannot turn it off or walk away.
Oh, so it's gonna make me really uncomfortable the whole
Yeah.
time.
All right.
But that is apparently very intrinsic. To, like,
Damn
you
it,
need to see
Kathleen
it like
Bigelow
this.
and being able to capture emotions.
Yeah, she's good at it. But that's Jack Rayner. Cillian Murphy. I just like Cillian Murphy. Like,
Yeah.
he can really do anything, and it's like, oh,
And
I'll
then
watch that.
Sunshine.
You didn't like Sunshine?
No, I love Sunshine.
Okay,
I
good.
love him in Sunshine. Yeah.
That's
No,
gonna be
no, that's
sad.
my favorite Danny
So
Boyle,
many
guys.
people hate Sunshine.
Why?
I don't because
I watched half that movie from behind a pillow.
Yeah, a lot of people that disagree with us on Sunshine cite the ending.
Oh, it was a little. I mean, it's a horror movie. It's a
For
you
me,
know, to some aspect.
it turns that movie good instead of great. The
The
ending turns it
ending?
good instead of great,
Oh.
but I still really like the movie. I just am like, okay, whatever for the
I'm
end.
still so on board.
I
for
love Sunshine.
the whole movie. But anyhow,
I love it.
just going through the cast now. We talked about how we like Sharlto Copley. I love him in this movie, and that's like with Sharlto Copley, like or Copley, however you pronounce it.
He's chewing so much of the scenery. That
Yeah.
it's so it's so
I
delicious.
do just want to hear him talk all the time.
Oh yeah, like I want to hear him and Reese Darby have a conversation.
Yes.
That would just
Oh, that would be amazing.
that would.
I love how
I would watch like like the Trip to Italy or like the Trip, like those movies. I want to
Oh,
watch
yeah.
that with Sharlto Copley and Reese Darby.
Nice. Let's
Talk
make it.
about a character though. I wanted to know more of his backstory. I like. Is he actually rich? Because Armie Hammer says like this guy you're about to meet has a lawn bigger than your country or something like that. And he talks about how expensive his suit is and who he is, but he doesn't seem like a good arms dealer.
No, he doesn't.
Seems bumbly.
Armie Hammer's full of shit, and
Oh.
it's so easy to tell. Like,
A, he's full of shit, but B, I mean, I'd imagine he has money, but he has no idea how to spend it.
yeah,
So he might have that lawn, but he couldn't afford it because he's an idiot, but he's also very smart. He sells them the wrong guns. Like he talks about that. He's like, "Oh yeah, so now I'll sell these guns to these idiots, and now I still have the M16s I can sell to somebody else. So I make double money." And like, well, what about all the ammo? He's like, "Well, I was only brought the ammo to sweeten the deal if they said no, so they didn't want it, so I'm not going to sell it to them." Like
Get the case.
he's an idiot,
You're a bird. Go get
but
the case.
he's smart. I like his character. Like there was enough levels and stuff to him where I was invested. I liked all of his decisions. They were stupid,
yeah.
but they were entertaining.
And the amount of speaking of stupid, the amount of times people would just be like, "No, I'm gonna go for it," and would just stand up and walk into a hail of bullets. It's like that happened more than once.
Yeah.
And also, why? I mean, I guess I'm trying to find logic in some of these decisions. Like, why were they
don't think you need
continuing
to.
to shoot at each other? Like the issues between these two dudes. Why are you all shooting each other? Just let these two dudes shoot each other and then walk away.
It would be a smarter thing to do, but I don't know.
Is that what she? Wait. So what was her end game, guys? Was she was hiring these snipers? We're supposed to take everybody out, and she's gonna walk out with both the money and the guns. Is that the plan?
Yeah,
Sure.
I think so.
As per any of those, there's the end goal for all the characters is to have all of it.
Oh, you know what I would have liked to see then? I would like to see her rant about how her plan got fucked up, and it was supposed to be easy, and these dumb fucks. That would have been cool.
You got that rant a little bit from the black guy.
Yeah,
once
you did get him
Once
pretty
he had his
pissed.
adrenaline death.
Yeah.
He's just
That was so.
It's a beautiful.
There's just his stare at Cillian Murphy's character as he's shooting at Armie Hammer when he just gives that death look to Cillian Murphy.
Oh.
I was scared because it was like that was cool. That was some really great acting there. And I was in Cillian Murphy's place. I was like, oh yeah, no, my gun's gone. I'm just keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was cool. I did like that scene.
And it led into that one great line where he shoots at Armie Hammer. Oh, come on, man.
Okay. Look what you guys did. Like, you convinced me. I was also really tired and
I
coming
think you
off
just
a long
watched.
shift.
I think
and
you
didn't-
watched it under the wrong mindset.
I did.
yeah. I
definitely
think
did.
I wish we had made you watch the trailer first.
Yeah, I did.
Because it's
Make
definitely
me.
it definitely
God
tells
damn
you the
it.
tone of the film.
Yeah.
It got you prepared for
Yeah,
it.
no, I literally, as soon as I saw these people in the car and that there was one woman, I was like, oh, it's a heist film then. These are bad people and they're going to do a heist or they're going to rob something, or that's what I was expecting it to be. So I thought the gun deal was like a prelude to their heist and was still like character development.
Right.
So when the shooting started and the music started, there was this swelling of music, like this shooting is a big deal. And I was like so confused by that because I was like, I don't care about this guy. Why am I caring that he got shot? And I didn't realize the music was swelling because that was the inciting incident to the rest of the movie. And so I was already like starting off in a place of confusion, which it says something about the important, like, because you talked about avoiding trailers. And
Yeah.
I think though sometimes maybe it's a good idea because that would have probably helped me a lot.
It
in
really just
There are
depends
some-
on the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on the trailer. Like, I never saw the trailer for Moonlight. Didn't need it.
Yeah.
The movie still played out fine.
And,
This one,
and
I agree.
who makes the trailer? Like Disney trailers always filled with spoilers.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just put the spoilers in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
didn't
Marvel
have
trailer-
time. I didn't have time to watch shit. I was coming off
Yeah.
of like work,
Yeah.
watch Wings, still continue to work, which by the way was really fun to try to send in reports while I was watching a silent film, and then I was also trying to like prep for today's job while I was watching this movie this morning. So I feel like maybe I was not 100% paying attention, but also I didn't have time to watch any of the stuff. So
And I think for a case like this where the movie needs you to be in a specific mindset and a specific kind of like, oh, I get it.
yeah.
Like it almost needs to kind of tip its hand a little bit. And I feel like
It's an easy movie not to like if you're not in on the joke, I guess.
Yeah.
because there's a lot of humor that I like that's very kind of, you could say trollish in nature, but it's just mainly kind of in a nihilistic slant. Like it's all meaningless. Let me just fuck with you.
And I don't
And
know.
there's kind of a headspace you have to be in to be fucked
Yeah.
with and be like along for the joke.
And I don't know if there's anything that the beginning of the movie could have done to, because I have to go watch it again and in a different mindset and think. Because I was wondering if like
it's all
if
those
the
parts
beginning of
kinda
the movie
together.
could have done more to like hint at what was like at the tone that I was supposed to be.
But even what you were
I
saying
don't
about how the soundtrack swelled and all that, just like that was swelling because it was like it knew this was a dumb scene.
Yeah.
It didn't matter, but like it's like we're gonna give this the full orchestral treatment or whatever.
And I was confused by that instead of because I didn't realize that this movie was about the shootout. I thought that shooting was just like, oh shit, that guy shot that other dude. This is gonna piss those dudes off, and then that's gonna mess up their heist plan. You know, I did not know that was the movie.
Yeah.
I know. I was really confused. I mean, I figured it out.
Yeah, obviously.
Once the
Yeah.
shooting got hot and heavy, like right after that, I was like, oh, that's what this movie is. Oh, okay. And then I was, in it.
I
But
also wonder how this affected the Irish resistance or whatever it was. They were fighting for the North or the South. I don't remember.
I don't remember. But I do remember we need to talk about quotes. Before we
got mine already.
ramble out of time. I'll go first. I mentioned it the first time I mentioned this movie, if you wanted to dial all the way back to then. But I'll bring it up again because it still made me laugh on this watch. So it's the first time Armie Hammer gets shot. And Frank, who hates Armie Hammer instantly, he's the older guy who's like Killian Murphy's like partner, hates him. And he gets shot and Armie Hammer goes, ah! And Frank goes, ah, bet you thought you're too pretty to get shot, didn't you? It's like, I love this.
I think it was Armie Hammer who said it. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly who said it, but at one point somebody just goes, I forgot what side I'm on. And that was how I felt during this whole movie. So okay. I was like, why? What? How do you know who you're shooting? I don't understand.
I like that. The
Yeah.
fact they don't know what side they're on. Especially like Armie Hammer and like Brie Larson. They kind of seem like they'd be on both sides. But
Yeah. I was like, why don't you just stop shooting each other? I don't know. I need a reason better than because then the movie would be over.
I think it's because they're idiots.
Oh, all right.
It's
Well,
ego and they're stupid.
I didn't prepare this time, so I'll just go with the other
Way to
Armie
go.
Hammer joke where he yells, "It's beard oil!" We already mentioned it, but it's a great moment.
And it's a good moment.
And Armie Hammer has an amazing beard in this movie.
He
does.
does. It looks
It's
good.
a really
You just
well
want to run
crafted
your fingers
face
through
coif.
Last but not least.
So the very kind of beginning of the movie where they're trying to get through traffic, Steve-O is the junkie's name. It's like the driver is like, move your fat ass, and he's all like, shut the fuck up, Bernie, my fucking head's about to explode here. And at first when I was going through, I was like, wait a minute, he just said the ending. He just said his fate. And I found that to be really funny.
Oh.
Like the movie is so in tune with its fuckery
Look at
that
you.
like it's like his head does explode.
It does.
I thought you were going to go with the do you have any head pills? Because you're talking about like Advil. He's like,
Aspirin or
no,
something.
I got smacked though. Oh.
Yeah, that was good.
I just
I
love
did
that.
like that.
Talk about a sledgehammer to crack a nut. And then he does the
There you
smack.
go.
There's so many of them, but I thought that was a nice touch that the movie is so well aware of what it's doing, and I kind of
Yeah.
like being trolled a little bit in that kind of good faith sort of way.
Totally. Review system. I'm going to, again, I like casting a very wide net. I will say no Mad Max Fury Road for this one because it would work.
Damn you.
Movies where people get shot.
Oh, jeez.
Nice wide net.
It's almost easier to come up with one when you make it tighter.
I know, right?
Sure. I gotta think of something.
I'm just laughing at the phrasing of make it tighter.
Make it tighter.
Get tighter, man.
Vaginas.
Is that a movie?
I don't know, but I know that's why you're giggling.
It is why I'm giggling.
Tee twat.
Tee hee.
I gotta come up with something here.
Well, I'm just gonna go with the obvious one and say Reservoir Dogs.
Okay. I will go. This movie does what this other movie, what Free Fire. It tried to do what Free Fire did, not as well, but I think it still had an admirable try. Shoot 'em up.
I love Shoot 'em Up. I love when he kills a dude with a fucking carrot.
That's
my
awesome.
favorite
Yeah,
thing in the
that's
world.
awesome.
It's so stupid.
Shoot 'em up is it is a Looney Tunes movie, almost directly so. He eats carrots. He listens to Kill the Rabbit. Like it's a very much a Looney Tunes. movie.
If I
was
watch,
supposed to be Looney Tunes.
Huh?
I thought they were supposed to be
Yeah.
referencing Looney Tunes.
if I watched this in conjunction with Shoot 'em Up, I would definitely have had my brain in the right place.
Yeah, so I think like Shoot 'em Up I think is a very fun movie, but it doesn't. I haven't rewatched it many times. I'll rewatch this one more. So it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit more fine-tuned idea of Shoot 'em Up.
Shoot 'em Up is
Right.
clearly absurd.
Oh,
like it's
yeah.
obvious. There's no room for ambiguity about the absurdity.
Yeah, no.
This scene where he's like banging that chick and like shooting people at the same time. Come on, it's
Yeah.
like it's the. Oh, I love that so much.
So I'm going to go with the exact opposite of this movie, but also did not make nearly as much money as it deserved because I loved it and it was great. Dredd.
I love.
Oh, okay, love Dredd.
Dredd, a movie about shooting guns in a very serious setting. That movie is dark, gritty, and serious, and technically in one location. It's just one building, even though they go to a lot of different rooms. But yeah, tonally and everything, the exact opposite of this film, but very underappreciated. And together might actually be kind of fun. Watch Dredd and then watch this, and then you'll have just a range of emotions.
All right, for me, I'm going to pick the other movie from this director, Kill List, and I mentioned it in
Okay.
the podcast. And the reason for it is because this movie actually pretends like it has, like, it leads you along with character arcs and backstory. It's kind of more like it builds you up with all this good backstory, like the stuff you wanted out of this movie, and then just says fuck it all and fuck you if you wanted this, and just kind of does a little bit more aggressive, while still being a really intense and funny, darkly funny film. It's got the old guy who is Cillian Murphy's partner in it. He's one of the hitmen in that movie, so he's in it. It's really funny. It's in a very similar style where if you're on board with kind of that back and forth of being trolled a little bit with the movie, it'll be right up your alley.
I should see it.
I really
will
liked
see
it, but I liked it because I was very surprised by it in a way that like I was really expecting this to do what it set out and it was. So it kind of I learned what Ben Wheatley was about in these two movies, and I'm on board for it. So.
Well, I've learned today that I should probably watch this movie when I can pay some attention to it and come in with the right attitude.
There is a lot of dialogue that you miss in the background.
Yeah.
When someone gets shot and you're focusing on their dialogue, but then other people are yelling things at them while they're talking. So it is a rewatchable film.
I think it's time to wrap things up because I am dripping.
Oh yeah.
Ew.
I'm not
It got-
dripping, but it is getting a little,
It's getting a little warm in
humid in here.
My armpits are a swamp.
Thanks for sharing.
I needed
Honey,
everyone.
you're so sexy.
Needed everyone to know. At least I went with armpits. I could have made that grosser.
Oh, and now you did.
One of my coworkers recently purchased a monkey butt. It's supposed to be some sort of powder that helps you deal with the chafing from too much sweat at work.
Yeah, I'm never gonna buy that product. Partially because it's called monkey butt.
And they make product for underboob sweat too.
Oh,
She
Is
was
it called
thinking,
monkey boobs?
I don't remember.
I'd buy that.
Monkey-
Anyhow, so next week I fucked up the schedule, so we will be off. I will try to.
Should we just air another rerun?
That's what I'm going to try to do. Since we are so close to episode 200, I'm thinking about repackaging 100 and re-releasing that one. But that'll all just depend on if I have time to do that or not, which I may not. Otherwise, we'll be a week off, and then we come back with Kong Skull Island.
Ooh.
Brie Larson
Looking forward to
back
seeing
to
that one.
back. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it again. I saw it twice in theaters. Trying to think after that is our 200th. Yeah, it's that. It's coming up real quick.
Yeah.
Our 200th. I will not say what it is yet, but I'm excited for it.
Cool.
It should go. It'll be a heated one. I'll say that much. It'll be a fight to the finish because that's a good place to end.
But it's not going to end. The podcast keeps going.
Well, yeah.
Don't misunderstand us there.
The episode will end at the end though.
Yes.
What is the end?
So find us, athpod.com. Email us, athpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, ATH_podcast. Everywhere else is ATH Podcast. Anything else we need to plug? We didn't plug anything last time because the ending was too adorable to speak over. That's a big no. Thank you for everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.